in my opinion, the most important thing, people aren't investing in HEX, or at least the majority of people aren't investing in HEX to try and time the next 40% pump, what people are really interested is in those 50Xs, 100Xs, whatever it is. And in attempting to do that, you really need to try and accumulate around the bottom and then take profit around the top. And so, in my opinion, the most important piece of TA to incorporate moving forward is not waiting for an arbitrary like price prediction. Like, for example, I've made a price prediction video for HEX where I say, where I compare how Bitcoin moved from its first cycle to its second cycle and apply that same logic to HEX. I could see a rationale for HEX reaching $17 if HEX goes on to behave in the way that Bitcoin did from its first cycle to the second. But in that video, I go on to say that this is really an ineffective way of trying to take profits, because the whole reason why we try and do these price predictions is to attempt to understand when it might be a more optimal time to try and take profits, because realizing returns is what changes one's financial life. And I'm not saying dump everything. If people get 50, 100 X's, realizing a minority of that position is likely to be life-changing for a lot of people. And so my point in trying to say all this is I think moving forward, looking out for the signs of when Bitcoin and your favorite altcoin has lost its parabolic shape, that is the most important factor to look out for when thinking about price predictions, when thinking about a take profit strategy, rather than these arbitrary price targets of $5, $17, or rather than these rather arbitrary short-term, price predictions. Because sure, we could probably pump to 11 cents. There's kind of an obvious resistance level there. But is that why we're all really paying attention? Are we all really waiting for the 11-cent HEX? No, we're waiting for the several dollar HEX sometime late 2024, 2025. And so I think moving forward, understanding the market cycle, understanding Bitcoin, and understanding your favorite altcoin, and understanding when the parabola has lost its shape is the most important piece of TA and the most important consideration when it comes to thinking about taking profits, thinking about price predictions. So I don't mean to be unwilling to participate in this short-term thinking. I actually love doing it. I have a lot of fun doing it, but in an effort to share, I think, what's the most optimal way of thinking about this issue, that's why I kind of went on this little tangent here. I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And what you're saying is very true. And I agree with that 100%. And I've been saying that great minds think alike, because it's more important to look in terms of timeframes than price points, because price points are very arbitrary. And like the factor, like it's just impossible to predict. And I think the biggest mistake people made last cycle, where people said, the Bitcoin top is not in, even though, you talked about the halving said it was, the parabola falling out of the parabola said it was, but everyone's like, it has to go to at least 100K or 300K because that's what it did last cycle. And I think if they would have, lived more according to what you said, where it's cycles instead of price predictions, they would have been a lot better off.
It's such a goddamn important thing you just said there, man. You hit the nail right on the head.
Thanks, man.
Which is more so than what I'm having to say is, I think what's important is relying on an objective set of criteria that you come up with. I just so happen to have come up with what I think is an objective set of criteria that works for me, but you do you, boo. You come up with an investment thesis that's objective, that makes sense for your particular financial situation, because the consequences of not doing so is you find yourself in a position like me, where I knew this stuff coming into the last bull market, but because I listened to all the cryptocurrency influencers where they were all saying, oh, Bitcoin's like minimum 200,000, minimum 300,000. Man, back in 2020, if you were saying, I only think Bitcoin will go to like 150K, you were like a wildly conservative bear. Like,
that was Ben Cowan. He was like the level-headed guy.
Yeah.
lengthening cycles, diminishing returns, guys.
Oh,
100,000,
bro, yeah, and people were like, "Oh, this guy's like some crazy bear, man! Like this,
oh my
oh,
god,
some wild out there guy." Like they were like, "Oh, it's cool to bring like the wild bear on just to hear that end of the extreme, right?" And he was talking about like 120, 180. Meanwhile, we topped off at like 69, had this crazy double peak. So it just goes to show you that people can be wrong, relying on your emotions are wrong, and understanding and looking out for objective markers of when the market is telling you when shit's over, not when you think shit's over, when looking out for when the market is telling you and looking out for the signs of the market showing you that hey, things are euphoric and things are now winding down. That's what you need to look out for. And relying on your own personal feelings has historically been a terrible strategy and likely to be a terrible strategy moving forward. Like, look, man, I don't know about you, but I remember during the double peak, waking up and when Bitcoin hit that 69K, I literally like hugged my dad, and I was like, "We made it! Like it's
I'm gonna pay off your
we're
mortgage."
back up." Exactly. And in that moment, I was literally experiencing euphoria like in that moment, and so moving forward, that was literally a signal that, hey, I'm literally like euphoric, being like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this car, I'm gonna whatever, all this bullshit," right? And and moving forward, that should have scared the shit out of me. And thankfully, I think I'm very, very attuned to try and learn from these lessons more so than I see like other people. Like when I see people not consider risk and not learn from lessons, it scares the shit out of me, man. Like it scares me to no end to get this shit wrong. Because for me, the consequences of getting this wrong is means like I'm a failure in my own eyes, kind of thing. Because I've dedicated so much time and effort and personal, like finance into this, that to get this wrong, it's not trivial for me. Like I need to actually learn exactly what it takes to succeed in the space. And so, I like joking around and stuff, but there's some very, very useful things that we can all incorporate into our own understanding the market cycle, understanding your own psychology, understanding the difference between real risk and perceived risk, understanding the importance of being a contrarian investor. That's another super, super important thing. Investing when everyone else is selling when everyone else is buying, that kind of thing is incredibly, incredibly important.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe. For weekly meetings, courses, and to access my Discord, consider becoming a Patreon. If you're looking for a more personal experience, consider booking a one-on-one. All links are in the description.